Well, right now, Applied Materials moving lower in over time after reporting mixed earnings results moments ago. The company also reporting CapEx spend of $510 million, well above street account estimates. Free cash flow about half of what analysts anticipated. Let's bring in William Kerwin of Morningstar. William, what is AMAT really up against here now? It's had a nice run over the past month as a lot of stocks have recovered, but how much of an AI story does it have, or how much is it linked to overall demand in the global economy?
Well, I think what it's up against, John, is really what investors are expecting, or maybe, for a better way to put it, fearing coming over the next few quarters. We really saw the results and the guidance out this afternoon as largely positive, pretty in line. If you look at the top and bottom lines on the income statement, both with what we were expecting and with what we think the street was expecting. But really, it's about what happens after that if there are demand pressures that come from tariffs or geopolitical uncertainty. So we think that inline guidance just wasn't enough to excite investors, and that's why shares are down a little bit after hours tonight.
How should investors think of the dynamics with AMAT versus ASML, which has, that unique high-end fab equipment?
Well, AMAT is a much broader story. So ASML is really concentrated in lithography, which is incredibly complex, but AMAT does etch, it does deposition, and these are process steps in making chips that are extremely complex in and of themselves. So we think AMAT is a key partner for chip manufacturing on the cutting edge. You mentioned AI in your last question. It is a big driver for them. We think what we see bearing out in these results, in the decent guidance that I talked about earlier, is really that AI continues to drive healthy demand in 2025.
So is it still not cheap enough to get off a hold? Is that the issue?
Well, we'll see where we end up after tonight and where shares go. But coming into the earnings tonight, we had about a 10% discount to our fair value on where shares were in the market. And that's the better price compared to the other U.S. options like a Lam Research or a KLA, which we see as more fairly valued or overvalued respectively. So no, we generally like KLA. We think it's a good long-term investment to hold, and we'll see where things shake out after we digest the report further tonight.
All right. William Kerwin of Morningstar, thank you.